Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today we are unpacking a totally fascinating perspective on human anatomy, one that takes us deep inside the skeleton. We're actually going to explore a narrative from our source material where your own thigh bone speaks directly to you about the true story of your organs. I know, right? We usually think we know our own bodies pretty well, but the text we're looking at today reveals this buzzing, hidden kingdom operating just beneath our skin. Let's get right into it.
Okay, let's dive into this. When you picture a bone, what comes to mind? Do you just see a static, rigid piece of scaffolding? It's super easy to assume their primary job is purely structural, just a frame that prevents the body from collapsing to the ground like an empty sack. But, as our source points out, this limited view totally tricks us. It makes us ignore the brilliant, nonstop activity happening deep inside our skeleton every single second of the day. So, we need to shatter this whole lifeless skeleton misconception right now. The source describes our bones not as dead wood, but as dynamic, living organs. They have vital responsibilities that honestly most people know absolutely nothing about. They're breathing, they're working, and they're taking on massive jobs. Your skeleton is carrying out tasks right this very second that are literally essential for your moment-to-moment survival. To give you an idea of just how active they are, the source brilliantly compares our bones to a 24/7 storehouse. The minerals from your food, they're banked right here in this bony vault. A staggering 99% of your body's calcium and 88% of its phosphorus are locked away in there, alongside trace amounts of copper and cobalt. And this storehouse never closes. It's constantly taking in new shipments and releasing supplies into your bloodstream at a moment's notice, perfectly balancing what you need at any given hour.
But wait, it's not just a passive warehouse. It is a bustling factory. Inside your bones is the bone marrow, which the source describes as a relentless cellular factory. And what's really incredible here is that this organ has been operating inside you since before you were even born. It never takes a weekend off, it never clocks out, it's just go, go, go. And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer scale of that factory's operation. Think about this number for a second. 180 million. That is the exact number of red blood cells that naturally reach the end of their lifespan and die every single minute in your body. Every minute. Now, while your spleen and liver do help out a bit, the vast majority of those 180 million replacements are rapidly manufactured and pumped out by the bone marrow. Your bones are quite literally keeping your blood fresh and flowing at lightning speed. And get this, the manufacturing doesn't even stop with red blood cells. The source highlights that this internal factory is also tasked with producing your body's ultimate defenders, the white blood cells. These guys are manufactured in the ends of your long bones, in your flat bones, and in the vertebrae of your spine. So why does this matter? Well, without this constant production of white blood cells, ordinary, everyday disease germs could multiply and kill a healthy living human being within just a few days. Your bones are your primary shield against the invisible threats of the world. Okay, now let's officially introduce the literal tour guide of our source material, the mighty femur. The text actually narrates from the perspective of this specific bone, which claims its rightful place as the representative of the entire skeleton. And fair enough, right? As the largest, longest, and strongest bone in the human body, it's so powerful it effortlessly carries the entirety of our heavy body weight every single day without snapping. Of course, the femur belongs to a vast, complex internal kingdom with some truly fascinating structural quirks. For instance, while adults typically have 206 bones, you actually had more when you were born. You started with 33 vertebrae in your spine, but as you grew, 9 of those fused together. We usually have 11 or 12 ribs. And in a really beautiful contrast to the massive, heavy-lifting femur, the absolute smallest bone in your body vibrates delicately deep inside your inner ear, which is exactly what's allowing you to hear my voice right now. But, a pile of 206 bones is just a pile unless they're actually connected. The source uses a simple but brilliant analogy here. It describes how the creator tied this whole skeletal system together using high-strength strings and bands, what we scientifically call tendons and ligaments. These materials are incredibly lightweight, yet remarkably strong, seamlessly binding joint to joint and bone to muscle so you can move fluidly. Let's move on and see how this builds, because how a bone actually becomes a bone is just jaw-dropping microscopic engineering. It happens in 3 major steps. It all starts with a soft foundation of cartilage. In newborns, this material is rubbery, soft, and almost glass-like. It's highly resistant to wear and brilliant at absorbing shocks. Basically, it acts like a sponge, full of trillions of microscopic pores just waiting to be filled. And this is where the magic really happens. Special bone cells, called osteoblasts, step in and produce a protein called collagen. This creates microscopic gaps that are immediately filled with a sticky, glue-like substance. As your blood flows past, it deposits tiny particles of calcium, phosphorus, and carbonate. That glue captures the minerals, depositing them layer by layer to progressively forge a harder, stronger bone. It's basically like a microscopic 3D printer. Which brings us to a really beautiful metaphor from the text. Bones grow in length until we're about 21 years old. During childhood and adolescence, our bones have to do two incredibly difficult things at the exact same time: bear the increasing weight of our growing bodies while simultaneously expanding themselves. The source compares this to an engineer raising the walls and the roof of a house, expanding the entire structure, without disturbing the residents living inside. Actually, scratch that. It's doing it without the residents even noticing the construction is happening. It's the ultimate architectural feat. So here is the ultimate takeaway from the source. While your bones might stop growing in length after age 21, their internal construction never, ever stops, but continually adapt to how you live. If you adopt a highly sedentary lifestyle, like lying in bed for a long time, your mighty femurs will literally weaken over time. But if you engage in regular, active exercise, your bones respond to that stress by pulling in more minerals. They grow noticeably thicker, stronger, and far more powerful.
We've seen today that the skeleton is far, far from a dead wooden frame. It's a dynamic, living, 24/7 factory and mineral vault that defends your life and adapts to your choices. It was engineered to carry you, but it absolutely requires your help to stay strong. So I'll leave you with this provocative thought. Knowing the incredible, hidden power of the mighty femur and those bustling cellular factories inside you, what actionable step will you take today to honor and keep them strong? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and honestly, I hope you never look at your bones the same way again.